Okay, so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm reviewing my new violin I purchased. It is a Cecilio Ebony 4/4 violin that I purchased off of eBay at KK Music Store. Now, I'm not going to claim to be a luthier or that I really know what I'm doing. I haven't touched a violin in about 25 years, but after doing a lot of research, I settled on this particular violin, and I thought I would show you what I bought, so that way if you decide you want to give these guys a try, you'll know what you're getting into. Let me first off just say, very positive. I'm very happy with what I got and the customer service I received. The violin itself came with a chromatic tuner, an extra bridge, which is right there, some rosin. They say quality rosin, but it's black rosin, and it's enough. Extra set of strings, a chin rest, shoulder rest, of course the little label there, and well, I'll get to that little black piece later. The violin itself comes in a really nice hard shell form-fitted case with the name brand right on the front there. It's got an outside pocket, which is actually very big and very deep. You can actually see the extra strap that came with it down there, and of course it does have a strap. It's held together by a Velcro flap and zippers that go on either side. So it's not like it's a locking case. I know a lot of people really prefer those types, but this is nice for traveling, going to go play violin, Inside, you got your two Brazilian wood bows. As you can see, I just sort of left the plastic on one while I am using the other one. They both came wrapped in the plastic, so no problem. Only a few loose strands of hair, which were easily remedied. The case has a nice little compartment on the side here, and it does come with a blanket to cover up the violin. Now, the violin itself is secured underneath by a Velcro strap, which I have already opened up just for the ease of this purpose. And there's the violin. Now, the violin itself, I have to admit, I don't know much about violins, but I really do like this violin. It sounds beautiful, which is one of the reasons why I kept it, even though the chin rest was broken. Now, this was like this when I received it. This piece was just sort of floating around, and unfortunately it did kind of scratch it along the top, and you may see that little scratch mark on the top of the surface in some pictures I'm going to post later. But I didn't want to send it away to get revarnished or anything like that, because I just love the sound of this violin, and once you fall in love with it, you have little stories to tell, right? It gives characteristic, I think. Either way, the chin rest itself is a nice clean break. I think the only way, when it was shipped really secure. Like, nothing was moving around except for this piece. So I'm just going to assume that it broke mostly because of temperature control when it was being shipped. I guess it got hot and cold or whatever, and it cracked. Maybe it was a flaw in the ebony, I don't know. But either way, I contacted KK Music Store the day I received this violin with the broken chin rest, and they immediately, the very next day, shipped me out a replacement. So the customer service from them is very good. There's my little Cocker Spaniel. Even if there was some damage, it was quickly taken care of. The violin itself does have an ebony chin rest. Yours hopefully won't be broken. Ebony tuning pegs, and an ebony fingerboard. The actual part down here with the fine tuning adjusters, that's just some sort of alloy. It's a plastic, I'm not really sure which. But as for the violin itself, it's got, case usually doesn't do that, but I usually have all of this stuff in the case holding it down. So the violin itself, like I said, unfortunately you can't really notice the scratch, thank goodness, unless the light hits it just right. But it's got like a nice metal shine to it. It's not really solid. It's sort of a speckle pattern which catches the light very nicely. After looking inside, you can definitely see the label inside with, saying it's a Cecilio brand violin with a serial number on it. And if you look through the other F-foil in there, you can see the sound post underneath the E string. Now, I've heard a lot of cheap violin knockoffs, also referred to as violin-shaped objects, or VSOs, don't have the sound post in. This does, and overall I have to admit that tuning pegs stay in tune fairly well. I find honestly that if it goes out of tune, all 4 strings go out of tune together at the, the same amount. So even if you don't want to tune up, you just want to pick up and play around for a little bit, you can play because all 4 strings are still in tune with each other, even though they're not technically in key. So that's quite nice. But that only seems to happen after I've let it sit for a day. So every day I tend to have to just retune it back up. So the shoulder rest is a nice little foam, with plastic holds on it. They're completely adjustable. I'm not going to bother opening up the bridge because obviously it's the exact same bridge as that. I've already checked. All in all, I have to admit I'm really happy with this purchase. I think it's a beautiful violin. It sounds quite nice, especially for a modestly cheap violin. I went online and I found that you can definitely and honestly pay at least twice as much as what you're going to pay for it at KK Music store there online, and even through their own actual website, Cecilio, they're selling this for about $2.99. So I have to admit that for a beginner violin, something you might want to fiddle around with or just get a child. This is obviously a 4/4 violin, so you want to get a smaller violin, but the company itself seems really reputable. KK Music Store was very, very conveniently helpful. Like I said, they were shipped out the replacement part, no problem. And I got I think a 1-year warranty on this. So if you're seriously thinking about picking up a violin for your child or for yourself, there you go.